the notes are there on the page. You're doing your best to play them. And I hear this from people all the time, but it doesn't sound good, or it doesn't sound the way you would like it to sound. You listen to somebody else playing, it sounds good, but you're not sure what it is exactly that they're doing that you're not doing. But I want to give you an example. So here's a flat performance of it. And here is an expressive performance of it. I think I have a slide about that. Hang on. And then on the next slide, I put kind of how I would decode the marks that the composer put onto the score. So I wrote all these little things in green. So I said between the second and third beats I would stretch. In other words, I would make those beats a little further apart in time because that is a bigger interval. And whenever we're playing music that's mostly melodic, we want to imitate human singing because that's what registers as the most expressive to people. So when you're singing big intervals, it takes longer for your voice to move between pitches than when you're singing close intervals. So that's why I would stretch there. And then there's a slur over the first two measures, usually shorter slurs like that, like not, 16 measure long slurs, meaning that you should get quieter at the end of the slur. So that's why I would do that there. And then I noticed that it said piano in measure 3 instead of mezzo piano, so I'm going to make a real effort to make it noticeably quieter in measure 3 so that there's a contrast. And then speaking of contrast, they both measure 1 and 3 are the same, but measures 2 and 4 are varied slightly. The rhythm slightly different, and then there's a crescendo marked. So I'm not going to get softer. So that's a defeating of the expectation. I'm going to deliver something people aren't expecting, like we were talking about with the dopamine rewards. So I'm going to be building up there, like the composer says. So I'm going to go back to mezzo piano. I have a stress mark, that little line marked on measure 5. I would emphasize that downbeat. I think because it's a note we haven't heard yet, that F, that's why I would emphasize it. And then I would get softer at the end of the measure. Again, it's a short slur. That's usually what the short slur means. And then in measure 6, I would be getting louder. It's marked to get louder with the we call it a hairpin. That's musician slang, where it says to get louder. And it also says MF. So that's giving you a little indication of how much louder, right? Like louder, but not like, massively louder. And then that's also the highest pitch of our music so far. And so I would get, that would be my loudest note that I play. And then at the end of the line, system is the official name, I would slow down a little bit. And that's because it's a cadence. I'm going to play it, and hopefully you'll be able to hear what I mean by cadence. Cadence means falling or closing. So it's kind of the way that the notes go together to imply that things are slowing down or slightly ending a little bit. So here's my expressive performance. I was so expressive that I improvised in the left hand. No, actually, I played a wrong note, and I thought, how am I going to get out of this? So fortunately, I came up with something that didn't sound too terrible.